I know so many people that make 80, 90, even $100,000 a year and still aren't even on track to retire. And I know other people that make literally half as much, but are on track to retire in their 40s, if not even faster than that. So in this video, I'm going to go through why your income doesn't actually matter, how reducing your expenses is 25 times more powerful than most people think, and the reason wealth building is so easy for me, but so hard for others. And to do all of that, I need to explain how to fill a sink with water. No, I'm not crazy. This will all make sense. The sink isn't going to fill itself, so I need to turn on the water. But if that's all I do, all of that water is just going to drain right out of the bottom. It doesn't matter if the water is just a small trickle or if it's going full blast. The sink is never going to fill up. The only way I'm going to fill up the sink is by putting a stopper in the bottom. Once I've plugged the drain, the sink will eventually fill up, even if the faucet is just barely dripping. So why did I just explain that? Well, because it shows why your income doesn't matter. To reach financial freedom, you've got to save up a lot of money. But if all of your money is just pouring down the drain, then it doesn't matter how much money you make. The only thing that matters is how much of your money you keep. So when you spend less, you're covering part of the drain so that more water stays in the sink and more of your hard-earned money stays in your wallet. But as simple as I think this lesson is, most people think the only way to increase their wealth is by earning more money. But for 90% of people, that doesn't actually work. That's because when most people earn more money, they spend more money. They replace their perfectly functional daily driver with a fancy sports car and go from a simple apartment to a high-rise with a view. Or maybe they buy a fancy new phone with a super expensive phone plan instead of using the dirt cheap plans offered by this channel's partner, Mint Mobile. There's a link in the description. And that's why most people earning over $100,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck, much less saving enough money to be financially independent. Earning such a high income won't actually help unless you build a system to save it, which most people don't. But not only does your income not matter, reducing your expenses is actually 25 times more powerful than most people think. To see why this is the case, let's go back to the sink. How much water I need to fill the sink depends on the size of the sink. My kitchen sink will take a long time to fill, but my bathroom sink needs way less water to be full. So when you reduce your expenses, you're not just keeping more water in the sink. You're also reducing the size of the sink that you need to fill. A common rule of thumb is that you need about 25 times your annual expenses before retiring. Using this rule, someone spending 100 grand a year would need $2.5 million to retire. But I spend just $20,000 per year, which means I'll only need $500,000 to retire. For every extra dollar you save, you need about 25 less dollars to retire. And there are even people that spend millions of dollars per year, which means to maintain their standard of living, they would need tens of millions of dollars in retirement savings. That's like filling an entire swimming pool. So the whole reason that I'm on track to retire in my 20s isn't just because I save a lot of money. By living frugally, I need to save way less money to be financially independent. So all of this goes to show why building wealth is so much easier than most people make it out to be. Conventional wisdom is that you'll only be wealthy if you focus on increasing your earnings, but this just isn't true. And obviously, I'd rather have a high income than a lower one, but this is a lot less important than most people think. Higher income also comes with higher taxes, which is why I barely get to keep 60 cents of every extra dollar I make. And a higher income doesn't reduce how much money you need to have saved for retirement, which means it doesn't reduce the size of the sink that you need to fill. And even worse, this obsession with earning more might actually work against you. Gambling, fraudulent investments, and risky business practices are all a result of this focus on earnings. Building wealth doesn't have to be that difficult. You just need to focus on the right things. Cover the sink drain before you start pouring in more water. And if you're wondering where to start, then you're in luck, because I recently made a video about 10 different ways that you could cut your expenses by $1,000 per year. So watching that video could be one of the smartest financial decisions that you ever make. So make sure to check it out next, and I'll see you next time.